Hey.
Hey. Welcome to the first episode of the Who F'n Kneauxs podcast. Your boy Patty V and Mr. Dave.
Dave.
Just Dave?
I don't know. We're in progress.
Rainy Days on Twitter with a 3. You'll find it.
It might change.
Yeah.
Don't get comfortable with that.
But we're here. It's episode 1. There's a lot we want to cover. We've been talking about doing a podcast for a while, and anytime I jump into a podcast, I want to make sure that first things first, we give a little background on why we're together, what we're going to talk about, things like that. I can tell you guys, first and foremost, anybody who's here listens to us, thank you. Second of all, you're on for a wild ride. We've been doing this for about 4 hours already, and we haven't even really gotten things going. So there's been a lot of this.
I didn't bring enough alcohol for this.
Yeah. So my brain's all over the place, and this is actually probably what you're going to get most of the time. But
that's why we named it what we named it.
Yeah, who effing knows?
Because we have no idea how this is going to go. And it's who effing knows because who effing knows if this is going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, if we're being honest here.
That's fair. But to give a little backstory, who we are, what we're going to do, to be completely honest with you guys, I just met this guy.
Yep.
What was that, like a month ago? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, probably about a month ago.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, about a month ago, we went out for drinks.
Yeah.
Or no, we came over for that one day. We talked about doing this. Neither one of us thought about it, and then we just jumped into it.
Yeah. And this is basically how my life works. I had a podcast before. If anyone has followed me from there, first of all, thank you. Why are you following me?
No one follows me.
Yeah, well, maybe they will. After this, they will. Definitely. Second of all, though, you know what you're getting. I'll keep us on the straight and narrow. We're going to stay down some type of path, but we're going to kind of go all over the place. Sports focused. I think Mr. Rainy Days and I'm going to keep calling him that. He doesn't like that.
I don't.
I think Mr. Rainy Days and I are on the same mindset here, where we're going to be sports first. But we're probably going to touch a lot of stuff. We're probably going to go all over the place. Talk life, talk, drinks, food.
I think we'll not try to stay strictly local sports, but we would like to have as many local ties to it as possible.
Yeah, for sure. And to give a little backstory, I'll go first, and then I'll let Dave say a little bit about himself. Grew up in New Orleans, obviously major local sports fan. Grew up a Saints fan. I can tell you my backstory. I was actually a Chiefs fan when I was 5, and people will look at me and be like, "What? Joe Montana, man, he was the guy." But from there, I remember my uncle, I was very young, gave me a boom box. It was like an 80s style boom box and had a sticker on the top of it and said Saints fan and a Bud man. And as a 6-year-old, I knew Bud Light. That's where it's at. It's not, by the way, folks. It's not at all. Don't do that. But, I became a Saints fan. I remember my first game as a Saints fan. Tim Couch threw a Hail Mary and Alex Molden didn't bat it down. And the Saints lost. Yeah, we lost to the 1-15 Browns. It was great. It was their first win that year. And then Pels, obviously, Hornets moved over. I was like, yeah, I fucking love basketball. Let's do it. And I've followed them ever since. Chris Paul, Dan Dickow before Chris Paul. So, I go back. We'll probably have some segments where we'll randomly talk about obscure names that people don't remember. Maybe we'll do it tonight. I don't know. It's who effing knows, right? But that's where I am. I used to work for the Baby Cakes, so I'm also, homegrown with that. Know a little bit about baseball. We can talk about that, but it's kind of who I am and where I come from. And I love bourbon. I love barbecue. I'm a hell of a crawfish boiler. People that don't know,
I guess we'll be talking to that next year.
Sorry for that now. But everybody that's ever eaten is like, holy crap, dude. My dad actually took second once in the state. Just saying,
they just didn't want to hurt your feelings.
I have his recipe. But yeah, that's me. Dave, who are you?
I'm Dave. No.
Cool. So moving on.
No. So, born and raised in Chalmette, in Chalmation. Feel about that how you will. Uh, no, so born and raised in Chalmette, moved out here after Katrina. As far as local sports goes, same thing. All fan of all the local teams since I was born. I don't remember my first Saints game, but I do have some Saints season tickets. Been a season ticket holder for a little while now. A little story behind that. They were my uncle's season tickets, and after Katrina, he moved out to Dallas, and on my 21st birthday, he transferred them to me. So
that's good.
So now they're mine. So there's that. Been there for a lot of interesting games. I guess I don't have any. I do have a terrible memory of the no call, but we won't get into that. A little worse than yours.
Let's stay positive vibes only, actually, on episode 1.
But yeah, as far as local sports team, fan of all of them. It gets a little off the rails when we get into the other sports. Baseball, Rangers, Marlins, college football, not an LSU fan, which I don't think you're an LSU fan either.
No, and I didn't bring that up.
Maybe we shouldn't have said that.
I want more people to listen to me.
Yeah.
No, I'm a Tulane guy, actually. So, maybe people will love me for that.
We talked about that a little bit. I am a Tulane fan, mainly a Miami Hurricane fan, though. And then what else we got? Talk baseball, college football, Golden Knights fan, and hockey. Wow. So it's a little all over the place when it gets into the other sports. But
so he's a bandwagon fan. Golden Knights won the championship at their first year.
You want to start there? Because we could get into it.
No. Let's not get off the rails yet.
All right, I get it. We don't want to talk about hockey to drive people away. But, yeah, that's me. Ain't much to me. Simple guy. Just like to drink beer, talk sports, and cool. That's it. We kind of started this because I've told you before that Twitter doesn't allow me enough characters. People on Facebook don't care. And that's about it. I needed somewhere else to put my opinions. I guess we should mention that why we are together in the first place, writing for Ethan.
Yeah. Yes.
That's how we met, really.
Yeah. Well, F'n Kneauxs. Bear with me. I've had a few glasses of bourbon.
If you weren't blocking the TV, they could see it.
Oh, yeah. Well, they can't see that. Let's be real. Listen, we've worked on this.
It'll be in one of these corners somewhere.
Yeah. Don't worry. Anybody who's only listening and not seeing what we're talking about, sorry, you should see the video. But yeah. So, yeah, we write for F'n So you'll see some articles come out. His will be more analytical. Mine's going to be more passion because, his are passionate too. Let me not cut him down like that. But what I'm getting at is I'm not going to take that much fucking time to look at the numbers. Okay. I will look into the numbers, but I'm not going to write about it.
I have a lot of free time.
Yeah.
A lot of free time.
I've got a lot of opinions. So yeah, that's that. But no, as far as this is going to go to move forward a little bit here, nothing's off limits. I know we talked about that a little bit, but nothing's off limits. You know who I am. You know who he is now. I guess we can dive into some topics.
Yeah, the way this is going to work is Pat's got a little list right here. We probably won't stick to it. We'll probably talk about the first one and then see where the conversation goes. I think the goal of this is for it to be like a bar conversation is how we'd like this to go.
Yes.
That's why we got the drinks.
Yes.
And, if you wanted to jump into something, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because he says I have a little list, and I don't. Actually, there's nothing on this. There's 4 things, and we already covered them. So, welcome to Who F'n Kneauxs. The first thing, though, that I did kind of want to talk about that we could kind of jump into is Saints training camp, Saints season in general, kind of where we think we're headed, what our feelings are on Sean Payton. I've got some feelings. But let's jump in. So training camp so far, how do you feel about training camp? There's been some fights. There's been a guy that wasn't there that we expected to be there, and now he's there, which, by the way, I'm excited he's there now.
Not too concerned about that.
Yeah, I'm not either.
How about y'all leave him alone? How about we do that? How about we just leave him alone? I'm sure he had his reasons. I saw he said he would, maybe at some point he'd be able to open up a little bit more about it. But right now, he's there, and that's what matters. He missed 6 days. We'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, anybody, I saw Twitter, right? I saw you guys freaking out, and it was ridiculous. Like, I get it. He missed a couple days of camp, and he might have deleted some things. It's fine. Like, he ain't going nowhere. He signed a contract. Let it be. Don't push him away with random words. Like, you're fine.
Speaking of freaking out, is it really that big of a deal that we didn't sign Quan?
It depends. If we're talking like from a football standpoint,
so people getting on here and saying, we didn't. Everybody assumed we didn't make the effort, right? Mm-hmm. That was what I took away from everybody. Just then, everybody assumed that our first option was Kiko Alonso,
the guy that hasn't played in 2 years.
Yeah, I told Pat earlier I thought he was coming into coaching, but yeah, I mean, there's a reason that so we had him for 2 years, and we said for 2 years we have him on a steal of a contract, and now that he leaves, everybody's freaking out, like we don't want to pay him. I mean, there's more to it than he just didn't want to be here,
right? Yeah, and if we're just talking from contract terms and from maybe psychological terms, looking at it, and reading what I've read, it seems like he wanted to get paid, first of all, which he didn't get paid that much more, but he wanted to get paid.
I think it was more of a role thing.
And well, yes, and that's what I was going to say. And he wanted to start, or he wanted to have the opportunity to start. And here he wasn't. I mean, which naturally, you have DeMario and you have Pete Werner, which are there. If anybody out there, you'll find as we go through this, I am a major advocate for Pete Werner. Like DeMario, obviously he's a dog and a fantastic leader, but Pete Werner is somebody that I guess real Saints fans know who he is and they know how good he is, but like I feel like he really flew under the radar.
And it's time to see what you have in him.
Yeah,
and Zack Vaughan on the other side. It's time to see what you have. We're on the same page there.
Who?
Yeah, no, we're on the same page there. But it's time to see what you have. Either he can play or he can't.
Yeah, and that's fair. And going back to what I was getting at before we went down that rabbit hole, though, like, if we're just talking from a football standpoint, does it hurt to not re-sign Quan? Yes.
But does it hurt to not sign him specifically, or to just not have somebody of that level for depth?
Yes.
That's what it is. It's not the reason that people are freaking out on Twitter, Saints fans are freaking out. It's the LSU portion of the Saints fans. If Quan was not an LSU Tiger, they would not be freaking out like they are.
We're gonna yes.
It's not to shit on LSU.
Yeah, we're gonna single out. I could feel it already. We're 5 minutes into our first podcast, or 10, or whatever it is, and we're going to single out LSU fans.
Well, I think the LSU opinions or the LSU fandom affects a lot of people's view on the Saints.
It does, and I've seen this for years, and I've said this for years, right? Like, everybody wants every LSU player, right? They're all homers. Well, not everybody. I don't want to.
To be fair, I do not like LSU. It's not even that I'm just an LSU fan. I do not like LSU, but I've wanted almost every LSU player that's come out of LSU in the last 10 years.
Oh, for sure. Like, I'm not an LSU fan at all, and my closest friends know this, and I feel like it's becoming a thing that I say. I'm not an LSU fan, but and then I talk about Joe Burrow, and I talk about Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and like all these guys that have come out. Tyrann Mathieu, Jarvis Landry. I loved him, and I'm glad that they're here now. But like, I talk about these guys, and I have kind of like a love affair with them, and I'm like, I don't like LSU, but I really like these players, and I always feel like I have to preface it with that, just because of how crazy other people get.
Yeah, I mean, it started with me. I noticed it with Mark Ingram. Yeah. People weren't fan. We all love Mark Ingram now. Yeah. There's no doubt. Everybody.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah,
he's a fun.
But
guy.
It started that people didn't like him.
Yeah,
at the beginning of his career, and I swear it's because he was he went to Alabama, and I'll stand on that.
Yeah,
that if he went to LSU, people would have been the biggest fans of him. But that's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, you're probably right. I don't care. All But moving on to like other things about camp though, there's been a couple things that have happened. There's been some fights. You want to talk about that?
Kyle Turley? I mean, Trevor Penning.
Yes, that guy. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I actually talked about this with some of my friends earlier in a video calls randomly on, but like, what's your take?
So at first I didn't know how to feel about it. At first I was like, when I saw the first one, I was like, all right, I like that. I want my offensive lineman to be like that. Then it happened again. And I was like, okay. And if you watch the videos, I don't necessarily think he started any of them. Maybe one or two of them he started, but I started to be like, all right, I like that, but he needs to reel it in. Then when it gets to the point where he gets kicked out of practice, then it's like, all right, you need to chill. But then I saw Jacob Hester, Andrew Whitworth, all these guys start tweeting about it and being like, don't coach that out of him.
Yeah.
Let him play like that. And Whitworth said it the best. He said that if he can learn to do that to the echo of the whistle, his defense is going to love him.
Right.
And I think that's perfect. And I've seen some people on Twitter saying he's chill or that he's annoying them and everything with it. But would you rather Cesar Ruiz?
I'm not here to.
Or would you rather your offensive lineman to be like that? Yeah.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
I want somebody with that dog in him.
Yeah, I definitely want somebody with that dog in him. I think Ryan Clark probably said it best. You'd rather in practice, coach. I don't even know if this is exactly how he said it, but it was along these lines. You'd rather in practice have to hold him back and keep him from doing those types of things than in a game try and coach him up to do those types of things, right? Like, you want someone who's going to go above and beyond. You want somebody that's going to play to the whistle and put somebody in the dirt and frustrate them. Which is what it looks like. Like, I saw the video with Peyton Turner. It looked like he was, kind of going. He was being a try hard, in a sense, and Peyton Turner didn't like that, and that started a fight.
So Ryan Clark said, "Excellent problem." That this was after the first one. He said, "Excellent problem to have. I'd rather have to say whoa than sick 'em."
Yeah, right. So I was paraphrasing but like it was along those lines. But
we have technology; we can look up exactly what he said.
Hey, sorry, man, Mr. Technology, rainy days over here. But no, I actually am very excited about what he brings. When we drafted him, I was kind of on the fence, and to an extent, like as far as his talent goes, like maybe I still am.
I'll tell you. Go ahead. Keep going.
Jesus, maybe I still am, but. I definitely like the personality and the effort that he's bringing in camp so far. There's, been a lot of things that have gone on in camp that I like. I don't know if you want to change the topic to what you just looked at.
To stay on that. I mean, and none of this is a surprise. This was talked about when he got drafted, that this is what he does.
Yeah.
And on draft night, people loved it. But now all of a sudden, 3 days into camp or 6 days into camp, whatever we are, it's a little iffy. And I don't care if he really does it in camp, as long as he's not making enemies on the team. And he's not. And when it gets into the regular season, if he can play to the echo of the whistle,
right,
as they say, and not get the penalties, I love it.
Yeah. Well, and if there's anything I've learned about people in general, right, this goes back to the Tyrann Mathieu thing. People like to worry. Yeah. People like to create problems where problems don't exist.
Especially this time of year. It's a slow time of year.
It's a boring time of year. We get it, guys. That's why we're recording a podcast, so you guys can be entertained, hopefully.
They just put the Jags and Raiders on TV.
Yeah. Without their starters.
And the backups.
It's like, holy crap. Like, the Raiders maybe, but like
can you name the Jaguars backup quarterback? Not Kyle Slater. The backup.
He didn't play, right? I can't think of his name right now, but he didn't.
The backup, play. The second string played.
Did he? I thought there was a.
Trevor Lawrence did not.
I had my laptop died.
Lutron.
Fun fact.
Lutron. I don't know. Something like that.
I think you butchered that.
I think it's Lutron.
Sure.
I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, that's it. Nailed it.
So sticking with camp, something you brought up multiple times. This running back situation.
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't brought it up on the podcast, but yeah, like...
No, because this is our first episode.
Is it? Oh, it is. No, I am definitely concerned.
And now,
I don't know.
Is that only if AK gets suspended?
No.
You're concerned both?
Yeah,
Either way.
I'm concerned either way. If he gets suspended, with that looming, it definitely makes it even scarier. But I'm concerned either way because I feel like through the years, and maybe it's different this year. Like I don't know what the offense is going to look like, right? But maybe it's different this year. But through the years, we've seen AK as more of the receiving back. Like, yeah, he's a phenomenal between the tackles runner. He can do it. But you need another guy to really handle the majority of that load. Which brings me to all these other topics about AK and his fantasy football performance, but we'll get into that later. If Mark Ingram is the only other guy, and I'm not hating on Mark Ingram. We touched on Mark Ingram earlier. I am a huge Mark Ingram fan. I think he's solid. I think he's old now. I'm concerned maybe he gets injured, or even if he doesn't get injured, he's going to have to get spelled. Who the hell else is going to come in at running back? Honestly. And I wrote this in my article too, when I was talking about like camp. I don't remember which article it was. It was the only one I wrote about camp coming up. But, you got Tony Jones Jr., obviously, who last year we were all enamored in preseason, and then the regular season comes along, and we didn't really see much for whatever reason. I'm sure there's different things. Maybe he was inactive, or maybe he wasn't picking up the playbook. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't picking up blitzes well enough. I'll be honest.
He was so good in the preseason.
In the preseason,
we all thought he was going to be the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And then he got some real play done, and it was not good.
And maybe they're relying on him. I don't know. And then you have who else do you have? You have the roster pulled up. There's what's his name?
So every running back we have right now, AK and Ingram, of course. Dwayne Washington, he flashed.
Dwayne Washington? He didn't flash. Dwayne Washington is
at times he had when we played Tennessee and they pulled all the starters, because we remember we ran all over Tennessee that one game. Mm-hmm. And even he came in and was balling.
Can I stop?
But he's not. But he's not somebody I would count.
I want to repeat one line you just said. They pulled all the starters.
Yeah,
and he looked good agast a team that had no starters.
We pulled all our starters.
No, they pulled theirs too. Yeah, it was still blowout.
I don't say that to say I trust him.
No, Dwayne Washington. Sorry if anyone who knows him is listening. I apologize. I'm going to offend people. Do you want to finish? I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
No, I'm just asking, do you want me to say everybody before you get into Dwayne Washington?
Yeah, say everybody, and then I'll hate on Dwayne Washington.
Malcolm Brown, who we just signed. Right?
Oh.
Tony Jones Jr., Divine Zigbo, who also flashed in the preseason when we had him, who was another guy we all wanted to make the roster and did not.
Yeah.
But couldn't play in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Got beat out by another undrafted back in James Robinson.
Well, James Robinson, first of all, is not your typical undrafted back. James Robinson, it's a travesty what has happened to him in Jacksonville, and I'm not going to go into that, but anyone who's listening knows. Continue.
And finally, Abram Smith, who I'm excited about.
That's the one I was thinking of that could blow up. So all these guys you listed, even Malcolm Brown. Granted, Malcolm Brown, they had the playoff run, and he was a stellar standout for the Rams in their playoff run. They're all mid. I'm 34. If I can steal a youngin saying, they're all mid, right? Like, I have a friend, when we would talk about basketball, which we're going to get into because we're both major Pelicans fans, and it's off season right now, so maybe not a lot of that right now. But when I would talk to my buddy about, players moving from team to team and who you're looking to trade for and things like that, it would be like, yeah, but they're all like B+ players. Like none of them are going to be an A+ player. When I look at the running backs, they're C+ players. Like all those guys that you just named, like they should be on a roster
without seeing them play.
Yeah.
Well, the ones that we haven't seen play, as in like Abram Smith, you can't.
Yes. Abram Smith is the one with the potential that I'm like, okay, what can he give? I want to see the preseason games and see what happens. But like the other guys, like unless they just randomly escalate, their play, like I'm not super excited.
The Saints have a history of finding guys at that position.
Yeah.
Undrafted guys. It's been a while since they've had one that's really contributed. I mean,
Well, last year was Tony Jones. That was, I mean, you thought.
No, but I mean contributed in the regular season.
Yeah.
Like when you had Kyrie Robinson, Chris Ivory, they contributed in real games.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Jones did not.
Yeah.
So, but there's a world where Abram Smith comes in and is good, and by the end of the year, it's him and Ingram and him and Kamara as 1 and 2. Is there not?
That's a wonderful world. What a wonderful world that would be.
Have you seen Abram Smith highlights?
I have. I've seen highlights of a lot of guys. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
No, it can happen. Yeah. That's best case scenario.
Anybody who's seen angels in the outfield out there knows the phrase. It could happen, but it could happen.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not as concerned if AK isn't suspended because he's gonna. I mean, if AK isn't suspended, he's not coming off the field often. If he gets hurt, if he's suspended, then yeah, you have an instant problem. And if the team is as good as we think they can be, they'd have to make a move, in my opinion. Unless Abram Smith is good.
For sure. And maybe that's how they're looking at it too, right? Like maybe they're like kind of taking the wait and see approach. Running backs can be a dime a dozen, to be fair. You can find some good guys late. You can trade for guys easily. There's each team seems to have 2 decent running backs. Like you can find some.
You
guys.
may also get some veteran guys that get cut.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, they were in on Sony Michel. They brought him in, which I'd feel a little more comfortable if we had him. If you look at Miami's roster right now, they have Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Sony Michel, Myles Gaskin, and there's somebody else who's a 5th one, and I can't think of his name at the moment. But they have all those guys. There's a chance Sony Michel doesn't make the team.
Yeah.
And they bring him, and it's not even that he doesn't perform well. There's just 3 there's 3 other guys that could be better. So there's a chance you still end up with somebody. It's just early. It's way too early to tell.
No, I totally agree. And I mean, and that's what they're hoping for, right? Like, we'll see. That is one area of concern I have with the team.
Is that your biggest area? I think it's offensive line play is my biggest area of concern.
Yeah. Yeah, I think offensive line play is probably my biggest area too, because like that'll open up everything else.
If you get good offensive line play, I mean, you see it all over the league. You can have a good offensive line and the back almost doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Peyton Hillis.
Yeah.
Not really. Actually, respect to Peyton Hillis, by the way. He was running over dudes. Okay. Let me not hate on him.
Oddest Madden cover of all time.
Yeah. Well, it was between him and Mike Vick, and Mike Vick was coming off, jail time. So like people wouldn't vote for him.
He also already had a cover.
Yeah, but he was actually a better player. Doesn't matter.
That's one of my favorite players of all time, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's fair.
But, I'd say my biggest area of concern is probably offensive line. I mean, everything else and line. I mean, if you get one injury at linebacker, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Name the linebacker after Zack Vaughan.
Well, Zack Vaughan is not even the guy you want to name, and he's also an outside linebacker. And I'm thinking in terms of, I don't know.
We stuff F'n Kneauxs.
You have the roster. You have the roster literally right in front of you. Look at it. We talked about this earlier, and we do. Okay, we talked about this earlier, and what I think, obviously, maybe the waiver wire, things like that.
They got the guy we drafted in the 5th round ahead of Zack Vaughan already.
Zack Vaughan has not been that guy, but hopefully he is. I don't know. Maybe he turns it around. It's only been 2 years.
So when you talk about Zack Vaughan, when he was drafted, if I remember, he was more of a pass rush specialist.
Yeah,
and that's not what they're using him as.
No. I don't know. I don't know what to say about Zack Vaughan.
He did have that preseason last year where he looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And then it did not carry over. But I'd say offensive line is number 1 for me.
Yeah.
And then linebacker number 2. And outside of that, there's not a whole lot of concern. My other concern is, which we somewhat talked about it, and you think, because talking about Marcus May and just how the safety play is going to be different because you don't have that big rangy safety like you do. So I'm expecting a few more big plays to be given up than in the past. But
maybe.
But I mean, I'll be honest. I haven't watched a lot of Jets games. I know Marcus May is good, but I haven't watched enough of Marcus May to know. I know he's not as rangy as Marcus Williams because that is elite range.
Marcus Williams, I actually, I haven't said this to you. We just met 3 weeks ago, folks. Any of my friends who know me, though, like, I loved Marcus Williams. I thought that he was a phenomenal, ball hawk. But he also had his limitations, right? Like, he couldn't tackle to save his life. He took horrible angles. Like, there were some things he messed up on. I like Marcus May. He's not the ball hawk. Absolutely. He's not the ball hawk that Marcus Williams was. Yeah, that's fine. But I think that you still add playmaking with him. You still add playmaking with Tyrann Mathieu. You still have C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who I was going to get into a couple of minutes ago and say that, I think now, even though you're not as deep with your linebackers, you have so many safeties. I think that if Marcus May has a suspension looming, right? Like, there's an issue with that. Yeah. I think that if that doesn't happen, which it probably will, but it's like, I don't know if it's PEDs or I don't remember what it was, to be honest. It's just not coming to me right now. But I think if they're all on the field, you're going to run a lot more like 3 safety sets. And I don't think linebacker is as big of a concern, but it is also thin. So then if somebody gets hurt, then what? But
you have 3 guys that can play all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. Even Tyrann, who's a little undersized, like, he can play anywhere. He's just a football player he's going to make plays. He'll create turnovers. He'll cause havoc. So, like, you may not have the rangy, deep ball hawk safety, but you still have guys that are going to make plays.
So, moving on a little bit, I'm working on an article right now. Every team's breakout player.
Okay.
The rules are no rookies.
Okay.
No quarterbacks.
Okay.
Who is your breakout player for the Saints? I have mine in an article.
If we're not talking rookies.
No rookies, no quarterbacks. Because, Jameis is an obvious candidate.
I think if we go that route, I think maybe Adam Troutman. I think I go Adam Troutman. Do you do comeback player of the year for, like, Michael Thomas? Like, obviously, like, I think Michael Thomas.
So I will say the way I'm doing this article, which will be on the website soon, I guess, as soon as I finish it, is it's second, third year guys usually, or guys that. So just to give an example, I chose Chase Edmonds for the Dolphins.
Okay.
Had a decent year last year in Arizona. His rookie contract was up. He moved on to another team. Now I think he explodes in another team. Or a guy who was out for a little while, like J.K. Dobbins. Had a good rookie year, but dealt with a few injuries. Yeah. Now he can come back. I think it's a little late for Michael Thomas. He broke records. So you can't use him. But
he's on a Hall of Fame pace after missing 2 years. Yes.
I like Troutman. Troutman is a good option. He's shown that he can be good.
Dude, Paulson Adebo, which is obvious.
That's who I have as my choice in the article, is Paulson Adebo.
And I'm overlooking that because when I think of the defense, I just think they're all like vets and they're all just so established. But I forget Paulson Adebo is he's been overlooked. Even last year, he was solid last year. He was a good player last year.
And everything from camp has said that he's been balling.
Yeah,
and Alontae Taylor also, to his credit.
Yeah, yes. For sure, but we're not taking into account rookies.
No, I kind of hated on that pick a little bit, just to be honest. Only because I thought we had other needs that we could have filled. Yeah. I was somebody who was ready to just load up the entire offense. I think there were good tight ends still available on the board. And while I think Troutman can be good, I don't necessarily trust him.
Yeah.
But now we have our savior, Chris Herndon. So
our fucking savior, Chris Herndon. You heard it here from the Miami U fan.
Anyway,
if anybody doesn't know, Chris Herndon went to Miami. He's a Hurricane, so naturally.
And
you LSU fans out there, this is some
his beginning of his career was robbed by Adam Gase, but we won't get into that.
Well, anyway, we could talk about a lot of players that were robbed by Adam Gase.
So what was I saying? But I agree. Paulson Adebo is my guy that I think
For sure.
takes a step forward, which a step forward is. I mean, if you get better than what you had last year from him, that's
for sure better than last year. He's a Pro Bowler. Like I don't know what more you could do.
That's a top 5 cornerback duo.
Yeah, especially if Alontae Taylor is who he seems like he is.
I talked to somebody.
Well, we're talking about duos, but like I'm just talking about the whole core.
I talked to somebody about it on Twitter earlier today. Just overnight, you go from the worst receiver core to what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
And last year we were concerned about the cornerbacks. If one cornerback got hurt, we were terrified. Now it's like if one goes down, you got Taylor, Roby, PJ Williams.
Yeah, glad you said that name. Hold on, stop, pause right there. I'm going to go on a rant, and I'm not going to go on a rant, but I kind of have to say something. So growing up, my name is Patrick, right? Patty V, Patrick Jr. Everybody called me PJ as a kid, even through like childhood, young adulthood.
Are you about to shit on PJ Williams?
I'm not going to shit on PJ Williams. Just hear me out, okay? Listen to me. I'm going to shit on PJ Williams. But I love him now. Anyways, redemption story.
This is disgrace.
Shut up. I was called PJ my whole life. Anyways, so he was a Saint. Obviously, he's still a Saint. He had some rough years, his first couple years, right? And I'm looking, he was solid on and off. He was just inconsistent. Last year, phenomenal year, right? Loved him. His name's not PJ.
Oh, is this what your rant's about?
This is what my name's about. Pull it up on your little techie thing there.
I was not ready for this.
His name is Kenneth Lamar Williams. So me, as a PJ growing up, not liking this guy for a second. I like him now. When I looked him up, I was like, his name's not even PJ. How did he get the name PJ? I hated on it. And I would tell all my friends, like, he's not a legit PJ. I'm not accepting this. They were like, oh, PJ Williams just, did this, this, and this. And we're like, no, fuck that. That ain't PJ. Anyways, last year, I made the joke a couple of times through the year. Like, if he does.
I was shit on him as a player. I was not ready for this rant.
No, if he does X, Y, see, he doesn't know me. We don't know each other. So then now we can have these fun stories. If he does X, Y, and Z, I'll be like, okay, he's a PJ. We're playing the Buccaneers. We're having a good game. I think we're winning. PJ gets the interception. You notice I'm calling him PJ, right? He gets the interception. And I instantly text the group. And I guess I'm missing some more backstory here. Anytime somebody would refer to him and say PJ Williams, I would literally immediately respond and say, you mean Kenneth Lamar? Immediately. I would never let them call him PJ. Anyways, he gets the interception. And they're like, oh, my fucking God, blah, 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 blah. All these texts are coming in. And I'm like, oh, my God, PJ Williams. And it was like that moment, if anybody cares about like my respect for someone, I was like, he's a PJ. Let's go.
If anybody knows PJ Williams and can get him on the podcast just to answer the question of why.
Yeah, I want to know. PJ. So his mom tweeted one day.
Because I learned 30 seconds ago that his name is not anything to do with PJ.
I think a lot of people don't know that his name's not actually PJ. There's no P or J in his name. His mom tweeted one day, and I wanted to tweet back like, hey, why is he PJ? But I was like, I'm going to be respectful. I'm not going to do that. Anyways, I don't know.
This is the Dodgers celebration.
There's something over there that's being covered.
This is the Dodgers celebration.
But there's other things I want to talk about first. Hold on.
All right. Like it. So
I'm still talking Saint stuff here. Let's roll forward a little bit. We're kind of getting off the rails. Who F'n Kneauxs? This is my old podcast. I had a saying. It was buckle up and like buckle the fuck up because who knows where we're going. I wanted to talk about Sean Payton. I want to.
Okay.
I have to. I need to. Like a scorned ex. Maybe not a scorned ex, but like I want to.
Run me them draft picks.
That's fair. So recently, and this goes in, the NFL started tonight and, you have camp going on and all that. So I feel like this goes hand in hand with all that. Recently, you had the report come out that Miami was docked draft picks for the improper, courting, whatever you want to call it, of Sean Payton. We all know he retired, and we were all heartbroken and this and that. And he said, "Oh, I'm not looking to coach anywhere else," and all that. We all knew it was a lie. Well, he didn't actually say, "I'm not looking to coach anywhere else."
He actually said,
he said he
may return to coaching.
Okay, I'm sorry. But it was kind of like, it felt like he wasn't retiring because he wanted to coach somewhere else in that moment. It was like, I just need time. And we're like, okay, fine. And I guess like looking at it, I just want to know, like, with the Miami report, how do you feel about the Sean Payton retirement? Because I have thoughts, but I want to hear yours first.
I think he wasn't ready for a challenge.
Okay.
So we've seen the reports. If Drew hadn't come back, Tom Brady would be a Saint.
Mm-hmm.
If Tom Brady's a Saint, Sean Payton's still a Saint.
Mm-hmm.
Today.
So do you think those conversations, like the Miami, all that, before it was Miami, do you think all that stuff started before then with the Saints?
As in, what conversations?
Like, hold on. Let me pop that. As in, like, Sean Payton and Brady started talking back then, and it was like, hey, I want to coach you. Hey, I want to play for you. Let's get together. And then it didn't work out.
I'm sure they have a relationship, but I don't think he would ever choose Brady over Drew.
Well, no.
I think whenever Drew started talking to Sean about, hey, this is coming to an end, then I think Sean starts looking in the future and says, after him, where do I go? Didn't draft anybody.
Taysom.
Yeah, didn't draft anybody. So where do I go from here? Just so happens that Brady becomes a free agent. And obviously they talked. Obviously they had conversations about coming here.
What's interesting too, yes, obviously, if we factor in other things too, it's proven in the recent report that Miami was in contact with Brady in 2019 before his contract was even up.
Yeah.
So like all these conversations were all happening kind of like together, but not together, but like, you know, like that Miami conversation was at least happening with Tom before, you know, he moved on to the Bucks. So like this was already kind of in the works. So what I'm thinking, and this isn't even my take that I was going to say, but what I'm thinking is that like maybe it didn't work out. And Tom's like, okay, well, maybe we can figure this out some other way. And that just led to other conversations.
Where he tells Brady, Drew's only coming back for one more year. After that year, we figure it out.
Yeah.
And he didn't expect the Saints to say, no, you're not going to talk to Miami. Because that's what happened.
That is what happened.
Well, they tried to talk to him, but the Saints said no.
What's interesting is that's what happened after. So Miami already talked to him.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that always happens. Like people talk and then the request is made to talk after the fact, like professionally. It's like, okay, we already talked about this, but I'm going to go ahead and make the request to make sure it's like legit. We know that's how it goes. I think for me, the way I look at this, and I was going to take a whole different approach. So like we went on this whole conversation. I was going to take a whole different approach. Have you ever been cheated on?
I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know.
That's fair. It's a tough conversation, right? It's hard to say, yes, I've been cheated on and it fucking sucked. I've been cheated on. I have. A long time ago when I was young. I don't equate them, but like I look at the feeling around the conversations of like, hey, did this happen? No, this didn't happen. But looking back, totally fucking happened. I equate that to like Sean retired, and while he didn't say, hey, I'm looking at this, this, and this, I wanted to do this, this, and this, he more said like, it's me, not you. I appreciate everything we've been through. I love the time together. I love that we won a Super Bowl. He was looking somewhere else.
He's always been looking somewhere else. There was that report that came out. I wish I remember the site, where there was a trade in place for him to go to Dallas. And he didn't because we had just traded Anthony Davis. and they didn't want to trade both of them at the same time. So he's wanted out for a long time. So it doesn't surprise me that he wants to go somewhere else. The only thing that's bothered me at all about the Sean Payton situation is how he left us. I mean, people will say, oh, Jeff Ireland and Mickey Loomis are responsible for who's on the team and who we draft. And that's bullshit. Sean Payton had every bit as much to say as who we drafted. He spent all those years not drafting receivers, not drafting quarterbacks, and then he leaves after leaving us with, I mean, at the time, we didn't know if we were going to have Jameis when he retired. So you left us with Taysom Hill and Ian Book, and then scrubs at receiver.
Yeah.
And you say, yep, see you guys later. And that's why I say I don't think he was ready for the challenge. He tried it. He had his taste of it for a year.
Almost made the playoffs.
Right.
Should have made the playoffs.
I don't know.
COVID, honestly. In my opinion, COVID is the reason they didn't make the playoffs.
I don't think I'll have real feeling, or I don't think I'll be able to tell you how I really feel about it until he inevitably ends up somewhere else.
I fully expect him to be somewhere else, and I said this before he retired.
But it was always Dallas.
I never looked at Dallas, actually. And maybe he ends up in Dallas. I know it's logical.
Well, the trade was the Dallas.
Yeah, no, I know.
And that was always the rumor.
I know.
That's why I say Dallas.
Yeah, and I get it.
Today, I don't know. It's not Miami.
It's not Miami.
Unless Mike Daniel's a disaster.
But I think the team I've always pointed at has been I was going to say San Diego. Hey, guys, it's been 4 years, 3 years, 2 years. I don't know. I was going to say the Chargers, LA Chargers.
What's their coach's name?
I don't even know their coach's name right now. Is that bad? Look up their coach's name for me. I look at that team. I look at LA. I look at California. I think it's fun. I think it makes sense. They're already being run. They're already running the Sean Payton offense. They're already running the Saints offense.
Lombardi's there, right?
Lombardi's there.
Brandon Staley is the head coach.
Yeah. They're already running the offense. Like,
they have
phenomenal young quarterback. I'm a huge fan. Anybody that follows me on Twitter knows, like, guys in my top 3. And that's crazy, right? Like, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the league. I think it just makes sense. Maybe it doesn't happen. I think it makes sense. I think they fall short of the playoffs this year, or maybe they make the playoffs and they lose in the first round. But their team's stacked. And I think Peyton goes there and turns it around, and it makes sense.
Well, it depends on what happens with them.
Well, yeah, this year. If this year they make a deep run in the playoffs, then he doesn't go there.
They were a tie away from making it to the playoffs.
So were the Saints.
Right. So he's been there 4 years. I could see it.
Yeah. He's been there long enough. He didn't get anything done.
Anything,
quote unquote.
First round exit or less.
Yeah. Like,
they say, hey, can we take him? Can we go any further with this guy? And I'm sure, he's known for, he's the guy that always goes for it on fourth down.
Mm-hmm.
He does all these questionable things. So maybe they sit there, can this guy get us where we want to go?
Yeah. Or do we want to bring in a guy with a pedigree of winning a Super Bowl, that's going to get it done? And that's how they're going to look at it.
Yeah. No, I would say no. What's his name in Dallas is that's going to be gone.
Side story. I have a friend, and I've said this already. I have a friend who's a Cowboys fan, and I've already mentioned to him, I feel like Dallas is kind of standing pat. I think the Joneses in general are just obnoxious that they're just kind of like, whatever, like, we'll just stay where we are. We're not going to sign anybody. We'll just make the team like half good enough to get like some fans to come out to games.
Do you think Jerry Jones wanted to keep Mike McCarthy?
No, I don't at all. I think he wants Sean Payton, and
he will give. As far as getting the haul we get back, Dallas is going to give us the best
for sure. And I think what they're doing is they're just like, hopefully we're like mediocre and we can fire Mike McCarthy and then we can go trade for Sean Payton in the offseason. I legitimately think that's what Dallas is doing. But I still don't think Sean Payton ends up in Dallas. Just my take. And I'm just some guy, right? Like, I'm a guy from fucking New Orleans.
The question is, does he have a destination in mind? Is it a situation where he wants to coach and there's 3 or 4 places he'll go? Or is he like, Dallas is the place I want to be, and if it's not Dallas, I'm not coming back? You know what I mean? Or was it Miami was a situation with was it Brady that was where he said, I want to be with Brady and that's why I'll come back? Or is he just, I want to be with a good quarterback?
Well, I think ideally he wants to be with a good quarterback. But, as we dig into all these things, you started asking me these questions, to be honest. And I had this immediate reaction where I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I love the guy. I'm glad that he did so much for the Saints. He literally put them on the map. He has made them respectable. But he's gone,
In DA we trust.
Sure. Hopefully, yes. I don't hate the guy.
So I would say, I think Dallas is still the favorite, only because of what we just said. Who's more likely to make a playoff run?
Well, the Chargers are more. I think the Chargers are.
Dallas may have a better team, but something always happens.
That's how I'm looking. I think Dallas is good.
The Chargers get to an AFC championship, which isn't an outlandish thing to say. The Chiefs got worse, losing Tyreek, or at least on paper.
Right.
So, Bills, Chargers might be the best 2 teams in the AFC. If the Chargers get to an AFC championship and lose, you can't fire your head coach. You could, but if your coach,
they should. But I get.
If you go from no playoff or verge of playoffs to AFC championship, you can't. You can't.
No, you can't.
But if Dallas doesn't make the playoffs or first round exit, absolutely you can fire Mike McCarthy.
Well, and he probably should have been fired when he admitted to lying in his job interview, but that's a whole other conversation.
You absolutely could fire Mike McCarthy, so that job becomes open, and voila, Sean Payton. I hope it's Dallas, but I also hope there's 2 or 3 teams that want him, so the price goes up.
Oh, at this point, I just want whatever's best for the Saints.
Yeah, at this point, give me the picks. I don't want him back.
What did you say earlier? Go ahead and say that one more time.
Run me them picks.
There you go. That's echo too bad.
That's going to sound awful.
And that's the conclusion of our NFL talk for the day.
That started with Saints training camp.
Yeah.
I'm watching a video of the Bengals running wind sprints, and Joe Burrow is doing it on a golf cart.
Rightfully so. Right.
So we've been recording for 53 minutes now, and all we've talked about is the Saints. Do you want to get into a little bit of random?
That's actually why I was
a little bit of random talk here.
That up. But before you do that, I want to make a comment on Joe Burrow. Listen, guys, as you know, I'm not an LSU fan. Sorry, I just had to start like that. Joe Burrow is a fucking dog. That's it. End of story. Let's go into what you want to say.
Yeah. So I do this article every week on the know. We call it In Case You Missed It. And basically all I do is, as things happen in the sports world, I make a little bullet point about it and give an instant thought to it. So, for example, all these trades in baseball were happening, and my thought was trades are happening in all caps. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That is factual.
So we have here Peyton Turner and Trevor Penning. Love the emotion, but let's not punch helmets with fists.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Why do we don't have to go on this tangent, but why do players do that?
I don't know.
I've played football. I've been mad at people.
Can we get to the Dodgers celebration?
Let's get to the Dodgers.
So the Dodgers had a celebration earlier in their dugout after Mookie. I think he hit a home run. Don't know what happened.
Say his name again.
Mookie Betts.
Okay, thank you. I thought you said Mookie, and I was like, wait a minute.
I did.
Mook is a different thing.
So I'm gonna show Pat this Dodgers celebration. I made a bullet point that said, "What the hell was that Dodgers celebration?" Are you prepared?
No, but yeah, do it. I feel like we need to talk about what the fuck. What was that? Wait a minute. What did they throw in his face?
It's the old circle jerk celebration in the dugout.
Okay. All right.
I wish we had the ability to share this video. I don't want to describe it.
No, it's fine.
You describe what you're watching right now.
Okay. Well, it's on replay. Well, Mookie, first of all,
he does
very
like
respectfully
Superman.
does the Superman, like, okay, Cam Newton, Superman thing. And I'm like, okay, what's happening? Celebration, fist bump. But then they all do down and they're like doing this. If anybody's looking at a video, they're like double fist churning butter. And something squirts up.
They throw water.
Yeah. And I'm like, I got nothing. I was a little concerned. At first, I thought it was popcorn, but it was water.
Oh, God.
Why are players doing this? It's funny. But like, jeez, Pete's.
Earlier, sticking with baseball. Earlier in the podcast, I laughed after looking at my tablet here. So I have an article that's just kind of, I think it's never going to be posted. This was the article I sent to Ethan to start writing for him, and it was about how terrible the Angels are as a franchise. And I've recently said on Twitter that the Angels are the equivalent of the Lions having Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson at the same time, never sniffing the playoffs, because they have Ohtani and Mike Trout, and are the worst team I've ever seen. Until recently, because the Red Sox are a disaster. The first time we hung out, the Red Sox had 25 runs dropped on their heads.
I was shocked.
But anyway, I say that because I'm reading a stat here that says the Angels tied a franchise record with 7 home runs today, including 2 from Shohei Ohtani. The final score, the A's 8, the Angels 7. And it is week after week. There is something where Mike Trout raised his average to 600. Shohei Ohtani hit 4 home runs. The Angels lost by 3 runs.
Hey, these 2 players on this team did something that's never been done. They're the greatest of all time. By the way, they lost.
You have the best player we've seen since Babe Ruth, or a player equivalent to Babe Ruth.
No, Shohei he's the modern day Babe Ruth. Like,
then you have Mike Trout, who is arguably the best player we've ever seen. There's a debate, but you can make the argument he's the greatest baseball player of all time. And this team is terrible. I think they're last place in the AL West right now. A division that includes the Oakland A's, who still play in a football stadium when there's no football team.
They didn't move stadiums? Wasn't there like a render? Like,
it's the worst team.
I worked in baseball, guys, and I don't even fucking know. But like,
I've ever seen.
Didn't the A's move? I thought they moved to a new stadium.
I don't know. Not according to MLB The Show.
Oh, okay.
The video game.
I do like that game.
What else do we have here? The White Sox attempted to trade for Ohtani, and I respect the hustle.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nobody really cares that much about baseball except for me, I think. Bucks offensive linemen dropping like flies. That was Brian Jensen got hurt. But the next day, Tristan Wirfs got hurt. Yeah. But it ended up being just cramps. So.
Also, first of all, guys, I want to say this right now, and I'm gonna stand on my high horse because I'm not an athlete, obviously, but like, I've played sports. Stop fucking rooting for guys to get hurt. All right? I've seen it on Twitter.
I don't like Ryan Jensen.
Fair.
He's a dirty player.
You don't have to like him. I've seen other guys, though, on Twitter.
Can I not feel bad that he got hurt?
That's fair. You don't have to feel bad that he got hurt. But, like, I've seen guys on Twitter who are, like, trying to be reporters or, like, other people. And, like, these guys are getting hurt, and they're resharing it, and they're talking trash. Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? They got families. They got lives. I'll get off my high horse. I'll go back to drinking my bourbon. But, like, don't.
The Red Sox are doing something, but no one seems to understand what or why. They were both buyers and sellers at the trade deadline.
It doesn't make sense. I saw that.
They made a bunch of trades and arguably stayed the same. Aaron Judge needs to be tested for steroids immediately.
Does it matter?
I hope he's on steroids. Big fan of the steroid era, me.
Barry Bonds, best player ever, without steroids.
I'm wearing a Ken Griffey shirt
Doesn't matter.
as we speak.
Ken Griffey didn't do steroids. The guy in the steroid era that was like phenomenal.
You're saying Barry Bonds, best player ever. I'm wearing a Ken Griffey shirt as we speak.
No, Ken Griffey's my favorite player ever. Barry Bonds is the best player ever.
Anyway, the Dolphins lost
episode.
The Dolphins lost a first-round pick and a third-round pick for tampering with Brady and Sean Payton. This is the most Dolphins thing ever because they lost the picks and didn't get a single one of them.
Yeah, that's fair. We kind of talked about that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
The Padres swooped in and sold Juan Soto from the Chargers.
Good for them.
From the Cardinals.
The Chargers play football.
What else do we have here? Not sports related, but pizza rolls need to be renamed to mini lava pockets, as I can no longer feel my tongue. I was eating pizza rolls for dinner, straight out of the microwave, took a bite, could not feel my tongue for 2 days. A little exaggeration there. Probably about 20 minutes. Burn the shit out of my tongue. Any thoughts?
No, let's move on. It's fine.
Do you agree they should be renamed to mini lava pockets?
Maybe. I don't eat pizza rolls, to be honest.
As I mentioned earlier, I am hereby the irrational leader of the Chris Herndon bandwagon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We don't have to go through one by one. Pick some good ones.
Jacob deGrom is back. The Honey Badger is back.
Yes, let's go, Honey Badger. Honey Badger don't give a fuck.
Wilson and Joe Flacco.
Yeah, let's talk about that one. Everybody doesn't know. I wrote an article about Zach Wilson, and if anyone knows me from my early years, and I say early years, but I mean like a decade ago, Joe Flacco is a fucking joke. Okay, the fact that the Jets are building him up and being like, "Oh my God, he's having a phenomenal camp." How bad is Zach Wilson? That's what I want to know.
I hope good, because I have him in the Dynasty League. Do you know who Jesse Winker is? Outfielder for the Seattle Mariners. So
I was going to say it sounded really familiar.
Middle of the game the other day, the Mariners, I forget who they were playing. They won.
Mm-hmm.
He goes out into the outfield, and some fans are heckling him, and he starts calling one Four Eyes, which I should not think the Four Eyes insult is that funny from a 28-year-old outfielder from the Maryland, but here we are.
Yeah, that's fair.
After the game, after the Mariners destroy this team, he gets on Twitter, "Happy flight," and puts the emoji with the glasses. I love that, and
listen. I'm a petty fan. If you want to be petty, do it.
I think baseball needs more of that.
We'll have an episode where we talk about what baseball needs, and I
actually have an article saved in the drafts about saving baseball, and that is one of the things. Embrace your stars.
For sure.
Jazz Chisholm got on Twitter and said, "Drill your mama," after somebody said somebody should drill him with a baseball.
Drill that bitch.
What else do we have here? Overnight, the Padres became terrifying. We talked about that a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'd have a better chance of winning the lottery without buying a ticket than hitting a Sandy Alcantara slider.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Sandy Alcantara's got some nasty stuff. I fortunately, I'll probably call attention to this a lot of times as we go through this podcast. But like when I worked for the New Orleans Zephyrs, then turned New Orleans Baby Cakes, Sandy Alcantara played for the Baby Cakes, and I got to see him live and in person, forced to, but like in a good way. And he is phenomenal, man. Like he's so good that like we used to have jersey auctions after the game. He's the only person I ever like went out and was like, okay, I want this jersey. And like I purposely either bought it or stole it or whatever. It doesn't matter, but I have it. That's all that matters. He's good, man.
I don't think anybody's rode as hard for Sandy this year as I have.
That's fair.
I think I have it's partially because I'm a Marlins fan, but I don't think anybody's rode as hard for Sandy as I have this year. R.I.P. Bill Russell.
Yeah.
Did you know James Washington was a Cowboy?
I don't care.
Okay.
I did, though. I have a friend who's a Cowboys fan. I've said that multiple times. He hates their core, by the way, the wide receiver core.
Debo got paid.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have here.
That's it. Good. Let's roll into how we close out these podcasts now, right? Maybe not every time, but like this time, and how I normally like to close them out. We've had some positive things, which is cool. I like to keep it positive, keep rolling with the positive vibes, good vibes only. Anybody who knows me knows I'm all about the vibes.
You want to tell them what you're drinking?
Do I tell them what I'm drinking?
You want to tell them what you're into?
Oh, I'm a bourbon guy.
I'm going to have an interesting beer every time we record.
Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. I'll do that. I like that, actually. We should probably start with that, but I'll close.
Yeah.
On the fly. Tonight, I'm drinking, it's very cheap. I'm drinking Sazerac Rye, and it's because I ran out of some of my better stuff, and I went and bought this literally before the episode because I didn't want to drink the good stuff that I have. I have some Widow Jane and some Piggyback down there that I was kind of like holding off on. I guess it's our first episode. I should have drank some good stuff, but I've already drank half this bottle. So, Sazerac rye. I love old fashions. I love bourbon. I'm a rye guy, which anybody who says they're not a rye person, sorry. Just, help that palate a little bit. Get together with me. We'll figure it out. There's some good ryes out there. Bourbon guy, though. Go ahead. Or not bourbon guy.
Beer guy.
Not bourbon guy.
Yeah, I'm a big beer guy. So he's a big bourbon guy. I'm a big beer guy. So what we have tonight is we don't want to give out too many free advertisements here, but
I didn't know we were doing ads.
We have a New Holland Dragon's Milk Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout here. Is that one. Pretty good. And then we also have a Kentucky is the brewery. It's also aged in a bourbon barrel, and it is a vanilla barrel cream. Fantastic. In case anybody likes ales. Very good. I got one more left, and I'm probably going to drink it.
Oh, yeah. Listen, we're going to stop recording.
Before I
drink and hop on 2K. By the way, shout out anybody that plays 2K. Let's roll.
If you want to catch, you want to play
2K
MLB,
Nation. Let's ride.
we'll play MLB show on this side of the table.
Oh, we can do that too. I do that.
Okay.
We're getting to know each other.
All right. Come on. What are we doing?
Anyways, top fives. So we do top fives. We'll close out everything with the top five. I don't even have a top five tonight because that's how we roll. I'm just going to go off the dome. Before I do it, though, is there a top five you would like to do? I will spitball anything. Let's do we want to do sports? Do we want to do food? Do we want to do music? I'm a music guy. Mac Miller, what up? What do we got?
No, these are facts. I don't need facts.
I don't want that. Let's do this. We'll just roll it. Choco Taco recently taken away from us, right? Let's go with that.
What is a Choco Taco?
Are you kidding me? All right. Well, this is going to be an interesting top five. Top five ice cream bars. Even if you just give me your top one, it's fine.
All right.
I'll roll through a list.
Before we get into this, so when we do top five ice cream bars, can we just do like top five things you could get off of an ice cream truck?
Yes, that's actually exactly what I'm thinking.
Because I'm thinking like Scribblers, not an ice cream bar, but it's a popsicle.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that then.
Go for it. Name yours.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah, you just got to go with it.
Have to be 5-1.
I don't care. You just name your top one. Name your favorites, and if you hit five,
right, so
go to like worst to best. That's the thing. That's the key.
Number 5, we're gonna go with the classic ice cream sandwich.
Okay.
Does that count? Can we do that?
Counts.
All right,
Yeah, for sure.
I want your number 5. We're gonna go. No. If you don't get the brainstorm, what I gotta write stuff down.
I am totally brainstorming. I'm writing stuff down as he's going. So listen. If he's going ice cream, so he said ice cream sandwich to be fair, and like that's the most basic thing I can think of. I think ice cream sandwich would be my number 5.
It's a Hall of Fame ice cream.
It's a good ice cream. It's fair. Number 5.
All right, number 4. You give your number 4. We'll go back and forth.
Okay, I'm going SpongeBob. SpongeBob bars. The eyes and the
My number 4 is going to be the Mickey Mouse bar you can get from Disney World.
Wow. Is that on an ice cream truck or is that just in general?
We were talking about ice cream.
Fair point. So
I don't know what
no, that's
the real
fair.
list is here.
It doesn't matter. No, we weren't talking ice cream trucks in general. We were talking top 5 ice cream in general or ice cream bars is what I said. I worked in Disney. Side note. I don't even know if he knows that. So get it. I totally get it. I'm in on those. They're not on my list. Number 4. You said number 4 for you was that?
So my number. I'll do number 3. My first number 3. I don't want to have the same one as you, but
do you? Mine's written. I already have it.
My number 3, the fudge bar.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Fudge bar.
That's a good one. Okay, my number 3 is similar to the SpongeBob. I'm going Ninja Turtle.
Are they not the same?
They are the same. They're the same. but they're different characters. So,
you
pulled up the damn list.
Well,
this is not fair. I'm just going off the dome.
What's the number 2?
Number 2 for me.
To be fair, I had most of these in my head already.
Oh wait, no. I guess maybe my numbers are off. I'll go through my whole list, then you can do yours. Okay, we'll just do it.
Well,
number 5 for me was ice cream sandwich,
right.
like we said. Number 4 was SpongeBob, and yours was
5 was ice cream sandwich. 4 was
Mickey, or
4 was Mickey. 3 was
3 for me was Ninja Turtles.
I had the fudge bar. Number 3.
2, wait, no.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, I went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I messed it all up. That's what's happening.
I had the fudge bar number 3.
Okay,
so you have to take one off your list.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna eliminate.
I need your number 2.
Okay, I'm going the nutter bar with the cone with the chocolate in the bottom. You know what I'm talking about, with the nuts? It's like an ice cream cone. That's what I'm doing.
I'm a simple person. I like scribblers.
What are the scribblers? I don't even know what that is. Can you show it to me?
Scribbler is? All right.
Podcast folks, if you know what a scribbler is, add rainy days with a 3 as the E.
It comes in packs of 2.
Underscore rainy.
It comes in
underscore
packs
days.
of 2. They're shaped like pencils or markers.
Mm-hmm. Sounds boring as fuck.
It's a popsicle.
Sounds boring as fuck. No wonder you live in Covington.
You also live in Covington. What are we talking about?
Nobody asked me about me. Okay.
You're just letting everybody know where I live. That's great. Anyway, I can't pull them up. I'm trying to. Scribbler's Coffee, where's that?
Okay. Anyways.
So my number 2 is Scribblers. Do you want my number 1?
Yeah, I do. My number 1 is on the... we already named it, but go ahead.
My number 1 is the Bomb Pop.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I know, that's why it's my number 1.
That's a good one. That would have been like my number 5, but
that's
a good one.
Scribblers look like this.
Oh, they look like crayons. You can still get those in the store. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
I didn't know we were trying to not get them from.
No, I know. I don't. Listen, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just here. I'm along for the ride. My number 1, Choco Taco. That's it.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what a Choco Taco is? It's literally, pull it up. It's literally a taco, but it's like chocolate. It's like a waffle cone type.
Is number 1?
Yeah, dude.
Over the Bomb Pop.
The fact that you're putting a Bomb Pop over a Choco Taco.
The Bomb Pop is a Hall of Famer.
No. A Choco Taco is literally the best thing ever. So
disagree.
Choco Taco is the Barry Bonds of like not allowed in the Hall of Fame. Like phenomenal, but like people don't respect it.
Where do you put the ice cream version of the Klondike bar?
I mean, I like a Klondike bar. So in my head, I guess I was all over the place. I was thinking specifically ice cream truck, which is why I went with my list.
You can get that. Well, the only thing I had that wasn't that you questioned was the Disney thing. You can get that off of the ice cream truck.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bar.
That's fair.
It might not be the same, but it's a Mickey bar.
That's fair. So to recap, though, I went ice cream sandwich, SpongeBob.
Still don't have mine.
I went Ninja Turtle, but I scratched it out because SpongeBob and Ninja Turtle are the same thing. And then Nutter Bars. And then I didn't say this because we didn't do a true top 5. I kind of scratched some stuff out. Anyways, ice cream sandwich, SpongeBob, Nutter Bars, Nutter chocolate bars because it was all chocolate. I'm a chocolate guy. And then Choco Taco, clearly because I'm a chocolate guy.
I had the ice cream sandwich, the fudge bar, which I think could have been higher, but fudge bar. Number 3. What was my number 3? I don't remember my number 3. I didn't write mine down. Do you remember my number 3?
I don't remember anything you've said all night.
Oh. It was a common thing.
Yeah.
So we had ice cream sandwich. Oh, the Mickey.
Oh, duh.
The Mickey. Yeah. Then I had Scribblers, which is going to be a hot take, and the Bomb Pop, which I don't think is as hot of a take as you're making it up.
No,
the Bomb Pop is legendary.
You're right. Like, it's on the damn T-shirt. You know, anybody that knows Roosevelt's baseball people. Yeah, I get it. It's just, not my.
Honestly, they have pop-ups.
Not my bag.
Those things are interesting. Looking at all the different options we have here.
Yeah.
The Ninja Turtle. That's a good one. Did you say Ninja? You did say Ninja Turtle.
I did. I just combined it with SpongeBob, though. But We're at an hour and 15. We should probably close it out.
Yeah, I agree.
If y'all are listening this long, we appreciate it. Like, genuinely.
If you listened at all, we appreciate it.
Also true.
Again,
for sure.
Still praying to the Lord that this recorded and worked.
If it didn't, we'll do it again. It's fine.
I will not stay here till 2 a.m.
Yeah. Good news is you get another one next week. So,
what do you, to close out, I guess, you got anything you're working on writing-wise for the site coming up?
are we supposed to do that?
Why not? Tell them what to look forward to.
No, that's not what I meant. I said, we're supposed to write? We're supposed to do that?
You did, what was the last thing you did?
Oh, shit. I think the last thing I did was the Jameis Winston Love Fest. There's a Patty's Players that comes out every Sunday, which I actually focused on Skylar Diggins Smith, the first one, which WNBA is a big passion of mine. I think that deserves more attention. There's some good stuff going on there. And then also I've posted some wrestling stuff. I think the last thing that was posted of mine was the USL Stadium stuff, but I wrote that
Ethan
2 weeks ago. Just came out.
I guess it's a little late now because the Hall of Fame game happened, but Undrafted to Unguardable, talking about the receiving core, the leap they took. But what you got coming up? Anything in mind?
Listen,
Nothing
me. The way I do this, same thing I did with the podcast. I literally just live life. And whatever comes through me happens. And that ends up turning into 4 articles a week or 2 articles a week, whatever it is. And then I just do things. So I'll probably have something wrestling related because I'm a wrestling guy. Talking about how Triple H has made people more excited about wrestling.
I once went on a WWF cruise. We'll get into that in the future.
Yeah.
My mom became good friends with the Headbangers. Do you remember the Headbangers?
I remember the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher.
We'll get into that in the future.
Okay.
We dressed my grandpa up and my uncles as the Godfather and the Hoe Train.
I love it. I love all this.
Yes.
We'll get into it. Cover this. I'll probably cover some other Saints stuff. I'm a major Saints fan, so I'll probably cover some stuff from camp and stuff like that. But once Pelican season comes around, that's really going to be my main focus. That is my passion. But we'll get there.
I have, as I mentioned it earlier, I'm working on the breakout players for every team. Working on that. Oh, we're doing our joint article.
Yeah.
We're going to have an article coming out with me, Pat, and Ethan all predicting every division winner, the playoff standings for each conference, our Super Bowl matchup and winners.
Buffalo Bills.
Our Super Bowl matchup and winners, and the award winners for every season. I may take a little bit of a betting aspect to it because I like to lose my money. Pat, not so much. Ethan will be there with me, more than likely.
I like to keep my money. That's fair, though.
So, yeah, that's what we got coming up. Check out theknow.com for all our articles. We got some merch up right now also.
Yes. Let's, before we go, I know we've been here for an hour and 20 minutes. If you're here
this
still.
Probably one of our longer pods.
Yeah, it's the first pod, so it's long. If you're here still, though, the flock is hot. Listen, go check it out. Phenomenal line. The Brandon Ingram silhouette. Some don't have it, but they're all
right now
really cool.
Right now we only have the tank top up, the white tank top. We're gonna have some more stuff coming up. I made a lot of different designs, tank tops, hoodies, shirts. We figured the tank top was best right now because of the summertime. Mm-hmm. So that's what we got up there right now. But yeah, theknow.com. I believe it's /shop is the site. So go check that out.
For sure.
And there's some other things up there, but I think that's going to be it. My computer's getting ready to die, so let's wrap this up.
We'll wrap it up. Last thing before we hop out, twitter.com at RAIN3Y_days, DAYS, Mr. Dave Rainey here, or for myself